Alright guys, how you doing? Welcome back to another video here on the #United channel. Now, you may have seen some big announcements that have come out on the channel recently, not only in our last few games, but also in our Chapter 2 announcement video, where we announced that #United are moving to semi-professional football. We're joining the non-league structure of English football, the 10th division of English football, so 9 promotions away from the Premier League. Now, when we made that announcement, there was a lot of questions. There was questions from you guys on YouTube, on Twitter, all over the shop, and I wanted to take an opportunity to put in one video my answer to a lot of these questions. So I'm going to answer as many of your questions as possible and give you guys an idea of what to expect in this new chapter, which is so exciting for #. I can't wait for it. Jamie Bruin said, how did your team get into the football pyramid? This is a great question, Jamie. So we reached out to the FA almost 18 months ago. We were thinking about what we were going to do next with #United, and I asked a question. I wanted to know what the options were for essentially a new team to get into the pyramid, because whilst I'm aware the majority of teams work their way up from a lot lower than the entry level that we've come in at, and I respect that, I was aware of a lot of different precedents of teams not doing that. For example, AFC Wimbledon, they actually joined the football pyramid a level higher than what we've joined at. FC United of Manchester joined at the same level as us, that's step 6 of non-league. And there's a reason for that. Mainly it's about fans. Even though they were new teams, AFC Wimbledon and FC United Manchester had a number of fans from day one. And it ultimately meant it wasn't actually safe and secure to put them any lower. For example, step 6 we're going in at, there's certain rules you have to have, like the ground you have to have certain requirements, a certain area for the fans to go, certain security in place, etc, etc. If you go one step lower than that, into step 7, a lot of those rules don't exist. And if you're to put a club in there that has a level of fans that makes that a problem, there's an issue. And we felt, and the FA agreed, that we're in that same category in terms of we have got a very great fan base, an amazing fan base that not only watch online, but also come out to games in person. You know, whenever we've had a crowd at games, we've had anything from 500 people to 34,000 people at Wembley. Now, 500 people alone would be about 4 or 5 times more than the average attendance in the league above what we're going into. Now, whether we can sustain that amount of people at games every single home game, we don't know yet. That's a new experience for us. It's a new challenge. I hope we can, but I also hope we just get a core group of fans that come every week. So yeah, we asked the question, what level would we come in at? And we were told by the FA that it's actually a really good time to talk to them, because starting the season coming now, 18-19, there was a restructuring of non-league happening. From step 4, step 5, step 6, there was new divisions being added, teams going up, teams being moved around, and it was a good opportunity for us to come in. We were keen to do this, and other options to us at this point involved us maybe doing a merger with an existing club, or finding a club of which there's many that were going out of business and were actually going to cease to exist, that we could somehow save, put some money into the club and kind of do a rebrand of #United. That wasn't my preferred option for a couple of reasons. One, there was a risk we'd go in at a level too high. If we took over a club maybe a couple of divisions above us, most of the # team wouldn't be able to carry over, and I wanted to create a world where we could carry over as many players as possible, because that's the story we've told, you know. Yes, the squad will change a little bit, but I didn't just want to overnight reinvent the team and let the faces and the people you've become used to just not be in it anymore. Likewise, I know we're going to get some criticism from sort of non-league faithful anyway. I didn't want to attract extra criticism by essentially like absorbing a team's history into hashtags and creating extra problems. Even though we'd have been saving a club, I could see a narrative where people would say that #United were ruining a team's history and all this stuff. So I thought it's really important that I want us to go in as #United. I don't want us to take over a team. If there's an opportunity where we can go in and be our own club from day one, that's what I wanted to do. And this new step 6 was being created in our area as part of the sort of Essex FA. There's a league called the Essex Senior League, and our new league is the league below that. So it's in the region that we live and operate in, and it's a new league, which means we're not taking anyone's spot. Some of you that paid attention to the process when it got announced might have heard that there was a bit of confusion where we actually got put in a different league at first. That was complete news to us. We've been talking to the FA for 18 months, and suddenly the day it was announced we were putting a different league we knew nothing about in a different area, and as a kind of knock-on effect, us being put in that league had knocked a team down a level, which was the last thing we wanted to do. We didn't want anyone getting relegated on our behalf. Obviously they weren't too happy about it, but we weren't too happy about it either, because it wasn't the area we wanted to be in, and there was a new league being created in our area that we'd always thought we'd be going into. So it got sorted in the end. They moved us back to the league we were going to go into. The team that got temporarily relegated were put back in, which is fantastic. But it's also important to stress we're not the only new team entering the pyramid. There's 11 new teams entering at this point, okay? We're just one of 11. It's because we're called #United and the rest have more kind of normal football names that we're standing out a little bit. But there's no sort of new rules being made for us. These are things that have happened many times in years past in football, and it's happening for 11 teams this year. But hopefully, Jamie, that long-winded explanation gave you the answer you're looking for. Luke Gowland McAndrew has asked, will #United matches still be on YouTube after you've played them, like match the day highlights of the game? Obviously, what we're going into is a completely different production challenge to what we've done in the past, where we filmed games. Sometimes we played them quite a long time before you guys saw them, because we wanted to keep a regular upload schedule. We uploaded a game every single 2 weeks from 2.5 years ago until recently. Whilst that was a really good achievement for a team that didn't play in a traditional league and we had to constantly find opponents, we're going to be playing games much more regularly moving forward, every Saturday and maybe midweek cup games as well. We can't afford to have a huge turnaround time between when the game happens and when you guys see it, because the result is going to be available for you guys to find out. You can just Google it, go on the league website and find out how we done. So we want you guys to be able to see the match as soon as possible. We're going to be working on turning it around much quicker. That may mean a slight change in the way the content is produced, but certainly above all else, we're going to be aiming to make the best content possible for you guys and get the highlights to you as quickly as we can. Tom Bennett says, are you going to change the name of the team? Hashtag isn't much of a football team's name. Tom, you're completely right. The name Hashtag United from day one has split people's opinion. I think it's helped us a lot, and it's also brought us a lot of criticism. There's a lot of people that don't understand it or that like to poke fun at it. It is very different, you're right. One of the things the FA were advising us on when we looked to get into the league was that we needed to add a place name to our name, you know, like a place, like Hashtag Essex or Hashtag London or whatever. We fought quite strongly against that, if I'm honest. That's not because we don't want to represent one area, it's because of a couple of reasons. First and foremost, we haven't really got a home right now. We're ground sharing with a team called Haringey Borough, but of course one day we'd love to have our own home. But also one of the things that's important about Hashtag is whilst we are going to have a spot, you know, a place in a location where people come and watch us, we're a team with a global fan base. Some of you guys watching this might be from other countries, not in England, not even in Europe. We love that about us, and we feel like by putting a place name in our name, we'd become just like every other club. Now, there's nothing wrong with the other clubs, but we are different, let's face it. We're a different club to most of the other teams we're going to encounter in the league. And I want us to celebrate that. So yeah, it's going to continue to get us some stick. There's going to be people that don't like us, don't like the idea of a team called Hashtag United being in their league. But you know what? We're coming and we're here to stay. We're taking it seriously. We're going to do things properly. And if they're going to hate us anyway, despite the fact that our intentions are pure, then good luck to them. But as long as we do things properly and we don't do anything that deserves hate, I can live with it. Sard Gory says, what are your objectives going into the first season? This is a really good question, okay? Because a lot of people have said that we're going to try and climb up the leagues. We ourselves said that, you know, we could be in the Premier League in 9 seasons, as much as that's physically possible. It's such a big challenge just to go up from the league we're in, guys, and it's a big jump up. If I'm being honest, my main objectives for us going into this season is to maintain as much of the core squad as we can, the guys that are good enough and that are committed, because it is a much bigger commitment what we're asking them to do. It's more games, it's more training than ever before. But if we can maintain as much of that squad as possible and be safe in the division, I'd be happy. In long term, I have got goals for us to get promoted, yes. I'd like us to be in the league above in the next 2 seasons. I'd like us to be into the Bostik League or the Isthmian League in the next 5 seasons. I think these things are achievable with the amazing support we have from fans all over the world and the amazing brand partners we've got. I think we can do it, but I'm certainly not saying we have to get promoted first season. I think that would be unrealistic, and I want us to really gauge where we are. If we were to go up in the first season, that would be amazing, but there's certainly no pressure being put on anyone for us to achieve that. The main thing is us staying true to what we stand for, keeping as many of the original guys together as possible, and then we learn from there. I also want to make great content. That's of course at the heart of everything Hashtag United do. I want to tell you guys the story and take you along every step of the journey. So that's just as important to me as where we finish in the league and how we perform on the pitch. Jack T says, will you be able to sign players? Yes, we can sign players. Yes, we are going to sign players. We do need to improve the squad. We need to strengthen it. We need to deepen it a little bit, because we've had loads of players play for Hashtag over the last sort of 2.5 years, but now we're playing more regularly and we can do a bit more travelling and there's more training required. Some of the guys who've been around and available for every game aren't going to be as available anymore. So we have to make sure the squad is competitive. The players that are maybe not committing as much as we need them to, they're getting their spot in the team challenge by people that are there every single week. So yes, there will definitely be some new signings coming. Not loads of them, but a few key additions that we'll introduce you to soon on the channel, and then we'll go from there. But we can continue to make additions throughout the season if we need to. James Walsh asks a very important question. He says, is there going to be a manager and coaches? This also links quite nicely to some other comments I found on the recent Nuki match we uploaded. Mirza said, how come Spencer never plays anymore? Is he just trying to coach now? And Cameron Doon says, there needs to be more organisation. Spencer just sends them out there with a motivational speech and doesn't give the players any tactics or anything. He needs to if they want to compete in semi-pro. It's a very good point. And I'm going to try and answer all those comments in one answer. Yes, there is going to be a manager and coaches brought in. A lot of people have been asking for me to become the manager because they've seen me play myself a little bit less in the last few games. There's a load of different reasons for that. First off, I was aware we were making this transition. Everyone at the club's known we're going to be going semi-pro for at least 6 months. And I wanted to start that process early and start to work out who are the players that are going to commit and be available every week next season and are going to be good enough. So I thought I need to be a little bit more ruthless in team selection. One way I can do that is by taking myself out of the team, because one of the challenges I've had with this team is it's all my friends. It's been created around people I am much genuinely friends with. And that makes it really hard to drop people and not pick people without feeling bad and feeling guilty. So I thought, you know what, if I take myself out of the team, and let's face it, it's a big jump up in quality for me as well. I'm not sure I'd be good enough to play at this level. I think I could do a job. I think I could fill in when needed, but if I played every 90 minutes in this semi-pro league, I think I would come undone eventually. I think I'd cost the team some results. It's a big step up. And I have been playing in the Sunday League reserve team recently, and I really enjoy that because it's with a lot of my original friends. So by taking myself out of the team, I was able to be a little bit more ruthless in the selection. I also had a little bit of an injury issue for a few games, which is not that important, but I took myself out and started to really assess who are the players, and I could be a bit more ruthless with selection and substitutions and whatnot. And so I did kind of move into more of a managerial role over the last few games. But it was never my intention to manage the team next season. As much as I love the idea on a football like romanticism level of being the manager of #United, I've got to be realistic. First of all, I have no real managerial experience or coaching experience. I haven't played at this level before. I can't tell the guys what to expect because I've watched this level and I've watched a lot of non-league over the years, but I've never played it. I think for us to really reach our potential, we need a manager to come in who can improve us as players, improve the squad, educate them, and really lead us into the next chapter. As a result, there's actually been a guy who's been with us for a number of games. He's not really been in the content yet because we've been waiting to work out how our relationship was going to work. But there's been someone that's been with us for a number of games now, helping the boys improve. And they are going to be the new manager of #United, and that will be announced in a separate video soon. And we're also going to bring in some coaching staff as well to help. I agree with what Conrad said about the boys needing more guidance than just me being a motivator. I like to think I can help motivate, and Seb's really good at that as well. But we need some real expertise to take us up a level. Who knows? Maybe one day I could do my badges, I could get some experience, and maybe I could be manager one day. But right now, we need some guys who've been there and done that. And there's loads of different ways I can remain involved with #. If the new gaffer wants me to, I can play. Likewise, I can play in the reserve team. I can continue to commentate. I can be in the content. I'm going to help bring the content to you guys and cover the story of running a football club. Because ultimately, that will still be my job, running #United. Maybe not making decisions as to who plays on the pitch every week, but I will still be the person that everyone's reporting to on a day-to-day basis. Steve Day makes a good comment on the same sort of point about whether we should bring in new players. He says, a lot of criticism aimed at the centre-backs, and probably rightly so. This was after the Nuki game he commented this. I'm sure the management are aware of the need to improve the defence. Spencer has shown the humility to drop himself, so I don't think he'll jeopardise the team performance just not to offend mates. I mean, I'm sure his mates won't enjoy having their pants pulled down in front of hundreds of people every week, knowing it's costing the team. Like I said, I want to bring as many players through as I can, but they've got to be good enough. They've got to be good enough to do #United fans justice. None of us want to go out and perform badly and not win games for you guys. So we're going to give ourselves the best chance of doing so, which is why we've tried to enter a league that we think we can compete in with the players we've got. But understand, if we're not competing, we will make changes. Jack Kennedy has asked, does the new chapter mean new kits? Jack, I can answer you, yes, it does. Pretty soon we're going to be revealing brand new kits, new kit providers, and new sponsors as well. But I have to say a massive thank you to the guys at Umbro and Top 11. They believed in us from the start. They were pretty much our first partners at the club. We couldn't have done it without them. We've had an unbelievable couple of years working with Umbro. We love these kits that we made with them, and the Top 11 as well have been fantastic partners, helping us go to Serbia, play games like Biggleswade, and more recently at Stoke. It's been great to work with them, but quite frankly, our deal is sort of coming to an end now. We've got some massive deals coming in, deals that are going to really help sustain the future of the club. So we're really excited about telling you more about that. As a result, the current #kits will be going on clearance sale. There's a link in the description where you can find massively reduced #kits. If you want to get a kit and you can only afford one, I'm letting you know there are new kits coming, so don't buy these and then be annoyed to find out new kits come out. I'm giving you that warning now. But if you're a super fan and you really want to get your hands on one of these before they cease to exist, I recommend you go and get yourself a nice clearance sale purchase. Jimmy Conrad has commented. He's obviously played for # a number of times. He says, does this mean I'm not allowed to play anymore with the squad? Technically, Jimmy, you can. We just have to register you, and you'd have to get international clearance to play in our league, because you have to do that for non-UK players. But Jimmy, if you're interested, mate, you know, there's a chance. I'm just saying there's a chance, you know. We'll give you a chance if you can compete with the squad. But ultimately, you do live in America, mate. So if you're going to come over, let me know. Alfie FC asked if we will be in the FA Cup. Now, there's a couple of different answers to this. Theoretically, one day we could be in the FA Cup, yes. I don't think, and I'm waiting for complete confirmation on this, but I'm not sure as a new club we're allowed to enter it yet. I think we have to have existed for a couple of seasons, or at least one season, before we can enter it. There are a load of cups we can enter, and we can come up against some decent teams in them. But yeah, theoretically, one day we could be in the FA Cup proper, and we could work our way, even if we had a really good run, into the first round and play proper league teams. Okay, we've got a question here from the Matt Hawes, I'm going to say. He says, will there be any more trials, Spencer? Most definitely getting a season ticket. First of all, great shout that you're going to get a season ticket. We are going to create a match day experience, because you know we're going to be playing games every single Saturday at 3 PM. Obviously, some will be away, but some will be home, playing in North London. There's going to be tickets available. It's one of the rules of the league we're going into, that you have to sell tickets, which we're happy to do, and you have to set a minimum price to them as well. They're rules that are enforced on us, but we want to make it a really fun experience for anyone that comes. And also, yeah, we want to get a regular crowd coming, because we're going to have loads of people watching online, hopefully. If we can keep that support online, it'll be fantastic, and maybe even grow it. But we also want to have real-life hashtag fans that come follow us at home and away games. So, Matt, hope to see you there. With regards to your question about trials, yes, we're more than keen to host trials and find new players to come and join for hashtag. It will be in a very different style to what we've done in the past, though. Obviously, the Academy series was great. We found loads of quality players through that. We've got a nucleus of a team now that we want to carry through into the next chapter. We are going to be making some improvements. There are going to be some signings made soon. But it's very important we get the right kind of players. Players that have got experience playing at the level we're going into. Maybe experience playing in the levels above what we're going into. We've also got our reserve team now. It's our Sunday League team, which a lot of the original guys are going to be playing in and have been playing in this season. We also want to use that team not only as a chance for players who maybe can't make the step up to non-league to play in, but also for first team players who are returning from injury, a chance for them to get match practice. And for any new players, we can vet them in the Sunday League team, find out what they're about, both on the pitch and off the pitch, and decide whether they're good enough to make a move into the first team. There's a lot of players that have already done that process, and we're going to look to continue that. So stay tuned for ways you can find out how you can get a chance to play for the Sunday League team and maybe the first team. But it's important to stress we are becoming more regional now. You know, we're based in the Essex/London area, so any players that are going to play for us regularly need to be from that area. Dalton Alert LCFC says, will you start scouting younger people like teenagers under 15 upwards? One of the things I'm really keen on us doing moving forward is to become a proper football club with a much wider ecosystem. That means youth clubs, that maybe even means a women's team. Obviously, the stronger academy that we can get, the more players we can actually bring through over the years into the first team as well, so it's going to make our first team stronger. So yeah, watch this space. It's not our first priority right now, but we do want to build out the hashtag United family and ecosystem to get teams of all different ages representing us and eventually climbing through the ranks into the first team. Jack Kennedy on Twitter has asked, will I be keeping the captain's armband? Now, I've already touched on the fact that there's a good chance I'm not going to be playing very much going forward in the first team. So it seems only right that we do appoint a new captain. And we are going to bring a manager in, as I've discussed. So that is one of the manager's first jobs, is to appoint a new captain. Feel free to leave comments below of who you think should get the job, but it is going to be the gaffer's decision. I can think of a few candidates, but for me, it seems right that I move into a different kind of role within the club now. And I've always said it's an old cliche, but you want everyone to play like a captain on the pitch. And some of those guys have been there a long time and have been putting unbelievable performances in for hashtag. And let's be honest, I've never been the best player on the pitch at hashtag. I mean, I had one really good game against Coca-Cola in Atlanta, and even that one I scored an own goal. But I did score 2 goals. So look, I've had some great times playing and I'll always be available. But there's been some unbelievable performances from players over a period of years. And if they can remain committed and help hashtag move into the next chapter, I think there's a couple of really strong candidates for the skipper role. NFC Josh 1 said, fast forward 5 years, in what tier of English football would you want hashtag United to be in? Like I say, the most important thing to me is that we remain true to what our kind of core beliefs are. We create a sustainable football club. I'd much rather you be telling me hashtag United still exists as a non-league football team in 20 years than we got to League 2 in 5 years and then we went under because we sort of got ideas above our station and spent too much money and suddenly we ceased to exist. You know, I want to create a sustainable football club, and I think we've got an opportunity to actually create a sustainable football club at non-league level, which, if you know anything about non-league, is very rare. Most non-league clubs are all funded on the whim of a wealthy benefactor. Now, I'm nowhere near as wealthy as a lot of the guys that own non-league clubs. I put a lot of money into hashtag from day one. I've never actually made any money from it, despite what some people say. We've never made any profit. Any money we've made, we've reinvested back into the club in doing things like the academy and tours and things like that. We're not trying to make a profit, and we're certainly not commercially motivated. We just have the opportunity to have unbelievable commercial partnerships that allow us to do these things on the pitch. And let's not forget esports as well. We've done tremendously well in esports. We're one of the leading FIFA esports teams in the world, competing with teams like PSG and Man City very regularly. We've got 3 players in the FIFA E World Cup Grand Final. That's more than any other organisation in the world. These are the things that our money will be going into. If we can continue to do these things and actually be a sports club that doesn't lose money, I think we just deserve a massive pat on the back, because that's very, very rare. So in 5 years, I'd love for us to be at the Isthmian League level, or the Bostik League level as it's currently known. That's sort of 2-3 promotions above where we are. So if we could get 2 or 3 promotions in the next 5 years, I think that would be unbelievable. But if we don't, but we have continued to be a sustainable football club with great fans across the world, creating great content, I'll also be happy. On that note, Dangerous Dilks has asked, do you understand why some people are against #United joining the football pyramid, since you'll get profit regardless of attendance, whereas most clubs rely on entrance fees to stay afloat? They think you may not feel the hard graft a traditional non-league team would. You're not right, Sam, quite frankly. Like, I appreciate it, and I do understand, yes, why some people don't like us coming in, but you've used the wrong words. No, we won't get profit regardless of attendance, because we have so many more costs than any other non-league team. Almost all non-league teams are run off volunteers. You know, some of them choose to pay their players, lots of them don't pay their players. Some of them pay their staff, lots of them don't pay their staff. We have a staff of 10 people running #United. The amount of content we have to make. The games cost thousands of pounds per game to produce the content from. No other clubs in non-league are actually facing those costs. So to say we're generating profit is not true. We can generate significant revenue from sponsorships and from the content we make, but we spend that money so much more than any other club. Also, I think there's a general misconception about our relationship with non-league. Like, we're kind of just going in there to try and get up to some league, and we're sort of not bothered about the environment we're going into. That couldn't be further from the truth. My background is non-league. The first football content I ever made on YouTube, really, was me following my dad's non-league team, East Thurrock. You know, he was the physio there. I went to every home and away game for a long period of time, filmed all the games, got tremendous access. Back then, no one really cared about my channel. I didn't have many subscribers, but that's where I started. And I've been going to those games for years and years, supporting my dad's team. So for many ways, this is a return to where I started for me. I'm really passionate about non-league. I've been to many, many games. In fact, I've probably been to more non-league games than a lot of the critics who are having a go at us, saying that they know more about non-league than we do. But that's besides the point. We're very passionate about what we're going into. It's something I've wanted to do from day one. When we originally came up with the idea of #, one of the things we thought about doing was actually trying to get involved with a semi-professional team and make a documentary about that. We decided instead to play in the team and start a team from scratch in order to build a fan base and create a genuine movement, instead of kind of just being one of every other non-league team. There's some great non-league teams out there, but we want to be different, and we're proud of that difference. Haroldinho wants to know, when will # win the Champions League? Well, the quickest we could do it, I think, would be 11 years from now. If we're being realistic, it's a massive ask for us ever to get anywhere near that level, guys. But I believe in setting the bar high. So you ask me if # could win the Champions League. I say yes, we can. We could. Will it happen? Who knows? When will it happen? Who knows? But it could happen, theoretically. If you'd asked me before, theoretically, it wasn't an option because we weren't on the non-league pyramid. Now we are. There is a world where # United could win the Champions League. You just need to believe. Timmy Foster, who's a decent FIFA player, I remember him from the FUT Champions tournaments last year, has asked if there's any plans for # to come to Australia. Look, we've got a plan pre-season for next year. We've already got our pre-season friendlies booked for this season going into 2018-19. We've got some decent tests coming up. There'll be more information on that soon. But yeah, we've got to do some decent pre-season tours moving forward, and I'd love to go to Australia with the boys. # Down Under, it's got a good ring to it. Guys, I've answered as many of your questions as I possibly can from YouTube, Twitter, anywhere I could find them. I hope it's been helpful and you've got a little bit more of an idea of what football is going to look like for us moving forward. I am so excited about the next chapter, guys. I cannot wait to see how we get on. Hope you guys are excited as well. If you are, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the # channel, make sure you got the notification bell turned on. There's some big videos coming soon, like the new manager, like announcing our new signings, pre-season friendlies, and then of course the big competitive matches in our first ever proper league. If you've got questions that I haven't answered, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Until then, don't forget to # it.